Hey everyone, it's Jay Monroe, the Successability Coach. I am stopping by today to answer another question that I have received this week concerning some career advice. And that's what I do. That's why they call me the Successability Coach. So, the question that I received this week, she says, I have 3 degrees in early childhood education, but I'm getting burned out. I want to do something different, but I know that no one will hire me for anything else because I have so much time and experience, and most of my experience is in early childhood education. What do I do? How do I get out of this? How do I transition? That's basically what her question said. And she gave me a little bit more detail, but just for the sake of this, I shortened it a little bit. So for someone like that, I would definitely say, considering the fact that she has so many years of experience doing the exact same thing and her degrees are related to that particular work experience, she definitely should position herself as a subject matter expert. And I would say the same thing for you. If you are someone in a situation like that, position yourself as a subject matter expert. And then that is what that you kind of use as leverage as you try to transition into a different type of position or a field altogether. Develop a consulting plan. People who typically have worked for many, many years in one particular industry, and their degrees are really geared towards one particular area as well, they usually go on to end up being consultants and consulting people in that same area. Now, you're still going to be involved in that kind of work, but just in a different capacity. Maybe you still have a passion for that kind of work, but you just don't want to fulfill that career doing the same kind of task. So maybe you want to be on the other end of it as a consultant, and many people do. Myself, I'm a consultant as well, based upon all of my years of working in career services, working for colleges and universities, working with graduates and those who are soon to be graduating, helping prepare them for the job search process, and doing all kinds of things like that when it's related to workplaces, recruiting, retention, and things like that. That's kind of how I kind of ended up doing consulting in that area as well. So consulting definitely is an option for someone who has many years of experience in one particular industry, degrees related to that, but they want to kind of do something different, or they maybe want to just step out on their own. Consulting definitely is an option. And maybe with that consulting, you can carve out a niche for yourself. Maybe you don't want to do the full scope of what you have been doing for the last 10, 15, 20, 25 years. Maybe there's one particular area of that industry that you really, really would love to just spend more time working on. Use that as a niche for your consulting. Maybe in your particular industry, you know that there's this one thing that seems to be something that people struggle with in that industry all the time, and there's constantly a need for assistance or help or things like that. Use that as your niche to branch off into consulting in your area, so you're still utilizing all the years of experience that you have as well as your degrees. You're just using it in a different capacity, and you are pretty much going into entrepreneurship as a consultant. And when I say consulting and thinking about entrepreneurship, maybe that's something you can actually start doing on the side as a part-time job before you fully transition out of your full-time position, if you're thinking about consulting. And that's a way to start building up your business, building up your clients, and just kind of really developing your brand as a consultant, and making sure that people know who you are and what your plans are of going into full-time consultancy. So I would definitely recommend that you do that. Definitely think about consulting. Find a niche that you might be really, really good at, something that you really, really like about your job, and it keeps you focused on one area of it instead of all aspects of it. Find a niche. Market yourself as a consultant for that niche. That would be a good idea, and I definitely recommend that for someone, because it is true that sometimes when you have only done one particular kind of job and one particular job only, it's almost like putting yourself in a box, somewhat pigeonholing yourself And it does make it hard, especially if there's not a lot of transferable skills that are used in that particular job that can also transfer into another position. That's a whole nother topic when we talk about transferable skills, how to identify your transferable skills and how to market yourself for positions that are outside of your normal industry. I'll talk about that on another topic one day, but definitely do that. Consulting, find a niche and then slowly transition, maybe part-time, into doing some consulting as you try to build yourself and you build your brand as a consultant. I would also suggest to someone who typically may be a person who is mid-career or they've been working in our industry 10, 15 years or so, that might be the time where you want to start thinking and asking yourself, if I was going to go into a different industry or do something different, what would it be? Start thinking about that. Ask yourself that question seriously, because there could be a time where you might get burned out and you want to do something different, and it would be good if you already have an idea or plan in place. So I would say start doing some research on that thing that you come up with, that job that you could see yourself doing if you weren't doing what you are currently doing. Start doing some research on it, and then start making some small but strategic moves towards navigating yourself in that direction. Just do some things. Take on a side project, take a class, go to seminars and workshops, and just kind of maybe have an opportunity to speak to someone or do an informational interview, or someone that's already doing what you might want to do or something similar. Try to get a mentor in that area or someone like that, because a lot of times, especially these days in time, people are changing careers more often than they used to before. And some people really have a desire to go in a completely different area. And it's not impossible if you're strategic about it and if you plan for something like that. So that's definitely my response for that question. If you are someone who has been working in a particular field for many, many years and you find yourself in a position of burnout and just want to do something different, you will be a good person that might want to consider consulting in that area. Find a niche, focus on that niche, and market yourself as a niche, as someone as an expert in that particular area and for that particular niche. Also, if you are approaching that stage and you think you might one day want to try something different down the line, start thinking about it now. Ask yourself what that would be. Do a little research on it and start making very small but strategic moves at trying to navigate yourself toward that direction, or prepare yourself for that, just to get some information on what it might take for you to transition. So that is my short and simple answer for that. But of course, if you want to have a detailed discussion about any career-related question, topic, issue, concern, most definitely reach out to me at J Monroe Consulting, and maybe we can schedule a consultation. But in the meantime, you know that success is your responsibility, is what I tell everyone. So always be thinking about your career. Always be thinking about your future. And you most definitely can use your abilities to be successful. And that comes from me, the Successability Coach. So until next time, I'll be waiting for your questions to come through, and I'll see you the next time I post a question, and make every day count in the meantime. This is J Monroe, and I'm signing out.